Good morning, everybody. You're tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Mike.
Yeah, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And Gal is here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. I'm sure Nick will join us soon. Spence, as far as I know, is still somewhere in the Caribbean, or he is on the way.
You know he's going to have to do this show by himself for 6 months
for
when he gets back. He is so far behind.
Yup. So, what is going on, guys? Everybody, if you notice a shiny piece of metal there on Mike's shot, Mike got himself a new microphone.
Like that's a big deal.
Nice. I guess that's the mount is only for. Oh boy, look how the plug is going on it. I was wondering where the plug is.
Yeah, I don't like that about it because what I'm going to do when I get motivation is I'm going to put a right angle plug on there.
Yeah.
It'll end up coming up and then go straight up.
Right, yeah. I'll be dang. Look at that thing.
I think it sounds pretty good.
It sounds great. But like I said, I mean, you always use high quality mics, so it's hard to tell the difference between them. Yeah, that's very, very nice. Very nice.
The thing I like about it is I can move around a little bit more on the pattern. On the PR40s and the MKH 416, you have to be right in front of it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, can you actually talk to the back of it, or it's only from 180 degrees where you are?
You can talk into the back of it.
No, but I mean, is it... my mic, never mind.
Okay, now I'm talking into the back of it.
Okay, never mind. Yeah.
But I did it.
Yeah. It's only one way. How far can you go? What type of angle wise? How No, Mike, leave it the way that you have it. Now you move. I mean, can you talk to it from 9 o'clock?
Oh, I don't know. You tell me. I'm now at 9 o'clock. It should be rejecting most of it.
No, it's pretty good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah,
7,
that's
8,
louder.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
No, it's there's no doubt that it's louder when you're in front of it, but it's very, very legible on the sides too. Wow. How
I
much
mean,
is
there's a disadvantage on that. It's not free. The disadvantage is that if the room had a lot worse acoustics than it does, see, that's why I have all this junk in here. It helps break down the acoustic waves so that it gives me better. This is all acoustic treatment in this room.
what type of mic is it? Is it dynamic or is it
Dynamic. Well, if it's PR40 element, it has to be
okay.
dynamic.
Oh,
If
that's
it's
right.
PR40
Yeah.
element. It's a Heil 77 PR77D.
How much is it?
Well, the list price is 250. I got it for 210.
Mm, mm.
I don't know. If you like the look, it's pretty neat. I'd still say that
No, I
it
like the fact that you can move around because if I
well,
go if I
but
go
you gotta
here,
have good acoustics to do that, and you can't have a lot of noise around you,
yeah.
like a condenser.
Hmm.
So, I'll probably end up bringing it over there and letting you use it before I'm done and over with it.
I
So,
mean, what happened when I talk like this? When
you
I'm
sound like crap.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. And sometimes you go here, you go here. So with this, it will something like that you can talk
I mean, this is the
around.
best microphone I've ever used for my voice.
Yeah, but you need to stay in front,
Yeah,
right?
well, you do, but I do that anyway. I do it as a matter of course.
Yeah, used to it.
But I mean, this one, I think it's fantastic. This is the one I was playing with last week. I bought for $69 at Guitar Center,
What
and
is
they're
it?
okay for live reinforcement. That's not so good for
What
broadcast.
what is it?
An EVND767A.
Okay.
It has a neodymium element and a built-in humbucking coil that some of the other mics don't have.
Home booking? Oh,
Humbucking.
humbucking. Oh,
I'm doing a podcast radio show for a guy. It airs Sunday night at 8 on YouTube and on the radio station in Wilmington. I recorded at his office. When I first started recording over there, I had this terrible hum in the audio. I just couldn't figure it out. I thought maybe there was a problem with the preamp or the cables. I mean, I checked everything, put mic processors in it, nothing worked. Then finally, I said, "Well, heck, it's got to be the microphone." So I tried a new microphone, an SM58 of all things. It's the problem solver of the world. It was worse. I went and asked a buddy of mine. I said, "What the heck is going on here?" He said, "Are you using mics with humbucking coils on them?" And I told him, I said, "What is it that Gordon Jump said in KRP, with God as my witness? With God as my witness, I never knew microphones had humbucking coils in it." Part of the reason being that a lot of the condenser mics don't need them because of their designs and because normally we're not in high EMI fields that have the problem. I He told me, he said, "Go take an RE15, take an RE10, take original Sennheiser MD421. If any of those is quiet, then the problem is you've got a stray EMF field."
EMF.
Yeah, it's called electromagnetic force. Electromotive force is electricity. EMF is electromagnetic field. There are two types of fields in the air around us. One is electrostatic, and the other is electromagnetic. And
Okay.
if you want to learn the difference, go to YouTube and I mean to Wikipedia. But what happens is that if you're picking up static electricity and pops and RF interference, that's typically it's going to be electrostatic. Like RFI can be electromagnetic because you have to have perpendicular E and F fields for the RF to be able to propagate through the way air. But anyway, they typically most people insulate against, like for example, tinfoil will actually shield against electrostatic forces, but it will not shield against electromagnetic forces because
Hmm.
uh, flux lines just go right through it. It's just like a piece of paper. Anyway, so it's an electromagnetic problem at this location. I could take the microphone and rotate it 90 degrees. The noise would go completely away, move it just to the right a little bit. It was just unbelievable how bad it was. I tried these once, but I didn't have two. It's on camera, so I didn't have two of any of the mics that was doing the job. So I went looking for them. I bought this ND767. It did a pretty good job, but there's still a little bit in there, so I bought 3 of them. Meaning that if I were gonna go out and do a live event, like, say, remote from a fair or something like that, I would generally take these mics that have the humbucking coils in them because you don't know what you might be next to. I mean, you might be next to a plasmatron or something.
Hmm. So and and it was okay with that mic? Is that why you
I
bought that
tried
mic?
this one, and this one was the best of all of them so far, but there still wasn't in. I don't know what this hum is in there. It's people say, well, all you got to do is take the microphone, move it around, you'll find the source. Well, I did that, and it's external. It's a bigger field than just a single point source in close proximity. I mean, if I were in that office all the time, I don't know. I might be concerned.
Oh, you mean health-wise?
Yeah,
Yeah. Very interesting.
I've been around transmitters my whole life. If RF will kill you, I'm dead meat anyway. But EMF, we know that magnetic resonance will hurt you because that's what a microwave is. But it's at very, very high frequency. We won't get into all the Gene probably could tell us.
I've been around
into that.
transmitters all my life as well.
Hey, Nick.
Hey,
Morning.
morning. Mike, would you use a lavalier at a fair?
For what?
I don't know. It's just a recommendation I
I'd
received.
tie it to a curtain so you could use it to pull the curtain open and shut.
Recommendation I received.
Well, hey, you know what? It's a golden rule.
Yep.
He who has the gold makes the rule.
Yep.
Believe it or not, they actually would work fairly well inside a tent.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Just way too loud. Yeah.
Besides that, but the acoustics would be excellent because that's
Oh, yeah.
outside.
That'd be great. Yeah, yeah.
Did you do it?
No.
Yeah. Now you might not be able to hear the person talking, but you definitely hear them donkeys.
Oh, yeah.
Primarily not because it's a lob, but because it's an omnidirectional mic.
Yeah, absolutely. Here.
Did you try it?
No, I didn't have one with me.
I thought y'all were
And-
going to cancel the fair.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't either.
Don't get it. Don't get him down. He's in good mood now. So
Yeah, look at I'm in a great mood.
Never in a good mood.
I'm in a great mood, Mike. Now you're making me sad.
What time did you go to bed, Nick?
3:30.
That's because you were in the dungeon. You were a dragon in
Oh,
the
yeah. We were
dungeon.
playing Dungeons and Dragons last night. Yeah.
That game's still around?
It is.
I thought you were playing that new one that you were standing in line to get.
I was playing that one too. Lots of great games to play. What a time to be alive. Red Dead Redemption.
Oh yeah, everyone's about that.
Oh, yeah. Your son playing that?
No, my son is waiting on Fallout 76.
Oh,
2 days to go.
He's gonna be very disappointed.
You think?
The reviews on that game are terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've really mucked it up.
We'll see.
Well, I mean, everybody's waiting to see. It's traditionally a single player game, which is they're starting to wean out, and it's a money thing. They can sell most game publishers sell games for $60. And if it's a single player game, it's $60 once, and then you're done. The next time you release another game, you get another $60 out of somebody. So this new concept is take your single player, release some type of multiplayer hybrid with it, and then you can sell some sort of either additional maps or different content, like the way that your character looks, and you can charge for all that stuff. And you don't charge a lot, but if you charge 150,000 people $2.99 or $1.99 over the lifespan of your game, you can a game like Fortnite is making hundreds of millions of dollars probably every quarter. I know for a fact every quarter on cosmetic things. They don't charge for their game. Their game is free, and they made $90 million in the first 60 days of their game being on iOS. So there's this great move away from one-time play, like when games when you were growing up, Kyle. There's not a multiplayer. You play the game, you pay for it once, and if you beat it, you just that was it. There was no extra money the publisher could get out of you. So that's kind of the status of the game industry right now. We've lost a lot of single player games because companies want to make multiplayer games so they can milk the consumers who are inevitably stupid and will buy this garbage more stuff.
So
there's game talk.
So Mike kind of explained to me inputs and outputs, right, Mike?
For what?
for the mixer.
Okay.
So at this point, Mike.
He's not here.
Oh, he's not here. Nick, you sound very hot. I have to lower it.
I can fix that.
Oh, wait a second. Let me put it back. Okay, let's hear you.
That was an easy fix on my end.
Okay, now it's kind of on the low side.
Well, then,
Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine.
there you
go. Who updated to the latest Skype?
Every time my computer reboots, I have to update.
Yeah.
So yes, I guess.
Well, if you really believe, anybody out there, that Microsoft does not keep your chats, then
Oh no.
I mean, it is ridiculous. Every now and then, it doesn't happen every update. All the old chats appear there. And I mean, this is old stuff. Okay, it's Nick and Sean, and Nick and Mike and Sean, and Nick and Mike and Sean and you. And I always have to right click and delete chat. Right click, delete chat. And you think that you're deleting them. Oh no, you're not. Because they'll come back. And that tells me that they're keeping it on the server. It's not erasing it from the server. It may be erasing it from displaying. It may be erasing it from displaying on my computer. And that could be a concern for somebody who's using it for business, or anybody who's using who I mean, I kind of doubt anybody will use it for sensitive material, but it's good to know that it doesn't really go away. So,
oh man, you know what though? I guarantee you a username and password for one of my services that I sent to somebody at one point to check something for me probably is floating around there. I guarantee you, man, I've sent you a username and password for something to log into it to look at something, or vice versa. I guarantee it.
Yeah. I mean, it
I know for a fact I've sent Sean stuff to API information to log into things when we were playing around with different services.
I mean,
so somebody gets in all their stuff, now they've got API keys.
There are two options there if you right click on a group chat. One is hide it.
Yep.
One is delete it.
Of course, they're not going to delete your information.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
That's what's worth everything. The users aren't worth a damn thing. It's it's their data that's worth everything.
We're worthless.
Well, we are.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. No, I mean it's I was and it's not. I mean, I wasn't looking at it from the point of, oh, they got my information, big deal, But now you're mentioning that, yeah. But it's annoying. You want to have a clean window. You don't want all that old junk. And like I said, it every now and then it comes back when you do an update. Not every time.
Well, I have 28,000 unread emails in my inbox, so I guess I'm not. I don't really that whole Skype thing doesn't really bother me.
All right.
But yes, every time I restart my computer, and not every time. Out of a 7-day week, 4 of the days when I turn the computer on, the screen goes dark and it prompts me for a Skype update.
Yeah, I still didn't do it on Computers 2K Voice. Or on Computers 2K now. I did it on my machine and on this machine here. Let's see.
We got a new chatter in the chat room. Look at that.
What? Oh.
Welcome, new chatter. Mike C.
There you
go. We've been playing with Discord as opposed to Skype.
Yeah, I had some. I haven't had issues with Skype, but I've been using Skype for more of a professional application because it's so convenient. It's easy, right? It's always logged in. If you put Skype on auto answer, practically always works. And it's I'm in a situation where I don't have a lot of time to configure to switch a configuration. So Skype is the easiest solution. I click the green phone button and my call is instantly connected. I'm using it to do a live audio transfer. And in a certain situation, in a remote environment, like out at an event or whatever, when you're sending a voice back, you've got background noise of the event that you're at, and I think it's a little more forgiving with its audio quality. But I'm using it in a situation where I'm trying to send a full audio program, including music and commercials and whatnot that are being recorded and done in a studio
Mm-hmm.
via Skype, and the narrow, I guess, would it be narrow band mic of the Skype codec is really really prominent when you get into playing when you get into playing music. I mean, it's very, you can hear how narrow
You're
the
trying to say narrow bandwidth, but I
okay, yes,
disagree. I don't think it's narrow bandwidth. I think they've overly compressed it to the point that they've changed the ratio of the frequencies, the perception of the frequencies. They're there, but the ratio is different.
yeah. So I'm looking for an alternative, but something that is I need something that doesn't require a connection on the other end, at least for right now. Something that I can jump into on I imagine a send and receive end. I need something that I can jump into on the send end, and the receive end is already kind of standing by and listening. So we've done some testing with Discord and done some testing with well, in the past we've done testing with TeamSpeak, and I'm pretty happy with Discord, so I might give that one a try.
What are what's the downside of Discord?
Um, unlike Skype, I'm just gonna have to hope that the receive end stays in there. I've
Oh,
actually never been connected to it. I don't know how long a Discord channel will keep you connected. I know it'll keep you connected for 12 plus hours because I've accidentally left it before and it didn't kick me out. But I use this during the week, so I don't know what it would. I don't know if that's something I've got to reset every day. If it is, it's not the end of the world. But I'd prefer to not have to reset it because inevitably I will forget and it will cause me problems.
and are you saying that you could do it with Skype and not reset it for days?
Yeah, because the Skype call is not active until you make the call, and with Skype auto answer, I
Oh,
just
if
have
you
the
have
other
it
end
on
pick
auto
up.
answer, okay, it's not open all the time.
No, 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 it's not open, but it automatically answers the call, and
Yeah.
right away. It doesn't even ring when you call. It just, you click it, and the call is established, and the audio is being sent back and forth.
But Discord has a lot of automation. Can't you set up so the other side will automatically answer the same way?
Now, I haven't thought about that. I wonder if you can have you're thinking of a call. I was thinking of setting them in a server, but I didn't even think about a call. That's a good idea. Let me see if there's some settings for that.
I mean, what happens when you're in a game and somebody is not on Discord and you want them to get in? Do you have to send them an email and say get on Discord?
No, you can message them, but that's text. That's not
Through
through Discord.
Okay,
Through
I see.
Discord.
Okay.
Enable desktop notifications.
Interesting.
Now, what I probably could do, there's key binds in here. I could probably map a key to something and then have a task schedule run a key input. I don't like doing that stuff.
You can also attach a bot that probably acts.
As
So there's so one of the things when we talked about creating a channel that people can reach me after the show.
Huh?
So I created a voice channel there, and that voice channel, once I join it, it's supposed to automatically connect to the YouTube live channel for Computers 2K Now.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, then I just issue a command and it hooks up. So, I mean, you could use a bot that does that. That's what's so neat about Discord, is this whole ecosystem of automation that's around.
Yeah. Well, let's see. There doesn't appear to be a way to auto answer a call, so I may be able to find a bot. I make my own bot that is a user. You can self-host bots,
Right.
that are users. So that may be the way to do it. That's interesting.
Maybe there's an auto answer bot. Maybe there's something like
Let's
that.
see. Yeah, Discord is amazing. I think, Mike, that was your that was one of your. Well, I don't know if I think he stepped away, but that was one of Mike's first time playing around with it. And I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's an amazing system. I agree.
And it's free, which is even better.
Oh. All I remember is that when I heard about it and I asked you, Nick, I said, so should I get an account for Computers to Connect? I said, no.
I told you no.
I don't know why. I mean, this was a while ago.
Oh, you wanted to use it as a chat room?
No.
Yes, you did. That's what Steve was doing. You wanted to use it as a chat room. I told you that was a terrible idea, and it was.
It was no, I knew for a fact that was a bad chat room because I couldn't get anything.
Yeah.
But I thought for the audio instead of Skype, because we also always look for.
Oh
we're
yeah,
always
you were talking about the video. Yeah, it doesn't do it. It puts all of the calls out on the screen. Unlike Google, it doesn't switch back and forth.
So it does the same thing like what Skype does.
Well, it does what Zoom does. Yeah.
No, Zoom doesn't do it like that today anymore. Zoom actually switches like. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Well, here's a post call in August of 2017. Somebody asking about it, and a whole bunch of people saying they think that'd be cool, but no response. So
why? There's an Echo bot.
Yeah, but that responds text.
I see. We'll look into that later.
Keep a lookout. Yeah.
I'll keep a look. That's interesting.
So
all right.
let me guys let me know if this where'd you go? So there's an article in the New York Times, and the title is "The Digital Gap Between Rich and Poor Kids is Not What We Expected."
Real quick, is that the New York Times or the failing New York Times? Which one of the which?
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't really read it.
Now that
a link that showed up. So
that can be understood two ways. Oh boy, there's a huge gap. No, there isn't. It's not what we expected. Or there's a very small gap. No, that's not what we expected.
Read the title one more time, Paul.
The digital gap. The digital gap between rich and poor kids is not what we expected.
Yeah, that probably is in a good way.
That's what I was hoping.
Yeah.
But no.
Well, damn.
So I think it's even worse the way they're describing it, not because it's true or it actually exists that way or whatever. It's like, hey, we've closed probably the digital gap between poor and rich kids when it comes to availability of online resource and stuff, right? But we still need a gap, otherwise we don't have anything to talk about. That's how it felt to me. So they're stating a phenomena that they're seeing in Silicon Valley and where the rich kids live, right? Saying that parents are now trying to ban screens completely from their lives, from the kids' lives.
That's a terrible idea.
And they're starting to say they want to take the screens out of the schools where they're learning because of the distraction, because of how ineffective it is in their eyes, how it's ruining the
social aspect of.
Yeah, but not only social aspects, also
I may agree with the inefficiency of it. They're having the things I would imagine is very distracting.
No, I agree.
I wasn't on the that whole thing didn't really start when I was in high school. That wasn't really a thing. But when I got to college and I always had a laptop with me, I mean, it was distracting as all get out. I'd maybe messaging, messaging with Amnon the whole time instead of paying attention. Thanks, Amnon.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, it's very, very distracting.
So that's part of what they're talking about. But there's also, it also stifles what's the interest in random things, because you always have something to do. There's no boredom. Boredom is filled up with content that is not important, but it's so
they might if it ruins the eyes, then they might as well take out all the books with the little text, right?
well, maybe. So anyway, the gap they're discussing, the gap they're discussing is that the rich kids will now have the benefit of screen-free learning
Oh,
environments,
jeez.
and
Oh,
while
boy.
the poor kids will be plugged into all the crap that's coming on through the screens.
So that is an article from the failing New York Times. Okay, glad to see that is just an absolute BS article and is just
Jeez.
ridiculous. I mean, are you
It
kidding?
is.
How can somebody who is that? Is there an author that is attributed this?
Let's see.
I mean, are you kidding me?
Don Lemon.
Did they mention that the
Nellie Bowles.
Did they mention that the rich kids also are white? Because that's an important part of the story, in my opinion. That they've got to make that classification.
And one or
as
more
well.
of them voted for Trump.
Oh, guaranteed. So rich kids won't have access to that stuff in school. They'll have textbooks from the 1970s, and that's going to make them better off than starving children in third world countries that have access to the internet.
That's the purpose of big data. What they're going to do is with these devices, they will be able through big data to know what their family's net worth is, and they will only provide certain content to the rich kids.
I like it. It's a good idea.
Through fingerprint recognition.
We should get in that business. That'd be good.
I am in that business.
Oh, look at that. How much money do I have?
I'm not telling.
Well,
so yeah,
they'll always find something to complain
exactly about. That was my feeling. It's like,
how about
let's find something to complain about.
Yeah.
How about an article that makes kids in third world countries that are systematically poor, connects them to the Western world and makes them feel like they're part of it? How about that? Is there an article written about that on the New York Times?
Why don't they do an article about taking money used to protest at Trump rallies by Soros and putting it in third world countries to buy things like drinking water
or tablets for kids?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Now, if you were to say that it may be actually bad for some of those third world countries to have that connection, I mean, you may be able to make an argument about that in some respect.
In the respect that I can see where it is bad for some countries to have that connection is when they can have the connection and they can see what's happening in the rest of the world as far as the good things that or anything that they want, but they can't have it. And that will make, I mean, it's the old saying, what you don't know can't hurt you. So sometimes that is correct. I mean, this is the only reason that in Russia, they didn't want people to know what's happening in the rest of the world. Because to keep communism like that and people poor and have to stand in line for bread and all that, if you don't know that in the States, there is a supermarket where you can go in and get all kind of breads, then you stand there and you're happy with it. Yeah, I'm getting my bread.
You can buy fresh bread for $3 or discounted bread for 99 cents. I mean, it's amazing.
But it's sometimes it could be a negative impact on people's life.
Well, I feel like if you only viewed the world through that stuff, you'd probably have a false sense of how great everybody's lives are. I mean, if you look at people's social media presence, you think that, wow, these people live in a great life, and realistically, they're ready to drive their car off a bridge. I mean, They
Yeah.
can't. They hate
Yeah.
that. I mean, they hate their lives, and so that that could be. I could see that being a like, oh, look at how great the Western world. Yeah, you know, it is great, but it's not. I mean, there's still crazy things that go on.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So,
there are. Absolutely.
well,
Absolutely.
it's all the rich people's fault. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, 1%.
Look at all the Hollywood people who left the country after the last election. I mean, this is a horrible country. Oh, wait a minute. They didn't leave? Sorry.
So have you guys talked? I don't know if you talked about it. You talked about that shooting in
No,
Pittsburgh.
not yet.
So there was a I don't think the numbers changed. There was a shooting at a synagogue in Pittsburgh, probably 9:00 yesterday morning.
Mm-hmm.
I think 12 people was the last number I heard killed, and maybe
Wow.
6 or 7 injured. So 20 or so people injured, including a couple police officers. And they found the guy's social media
GAB, right?
on GAB, and it was clear, it's blatantly obvious that he was an anti-Semite. He hated Jewish people. When they confronted him, the police, he yelled something, "All Jews must die," or something like that. Anti-Semite. That's established. His online social media made that clear. His actions made that clear, and he yelled it. I mean, there's no like, oh, this guy might not like Jewish people. He made it blatantly obvious. So GAB is a social network that we've talked about in the past, and their hosting provider, which is JoyNet, I think is the name of their hosting provider, starting Monday is going to pull their hosting service, and it will be kicking them off the service because this guy was on there.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on.
So Andrew Torba is trying to figure out what they're going to be able to do, but this is now the 4th hosting provider that has kicked them off due to this, and he's asking the question, why the hell is Facebook not why is this not happening to Facebook when they find these people on Facebook, which in the past they found these crazy
Because
Dylan Roof was on Facebook.
because
The Charleston church killer.
because Facebook has their own structure.
I understand Facebook's got their own structure,
See,
but there is a call to arms
Oh yeah.
for GAB to get wiped off the internet because this guy posted anti-Semitic things on GAB, which is a social media. It's an open platform. It's not a blog. It's not something that you have to be registered for. Or excuse me, it's not something you have to be screened for. You go in, if you have an email address, you can make an account. It's nothing that you and surprisingly enough, Andrew strives on the fact that he allows people to say things like that on his service because it's supposed to be a totally open service. If you want to say you hate one group of people, you can. Now there are illegal things on the service, like child pornography, which is illegal anywhere where you look at it. That stuff is blocked and banned. Not allowed to post that stuff. But if I want to say I hate Amnon Nissan and everything about him, they're not gonna ban me. That whole point is that freedom of speech is allowed. Now Amnon can quote unquote ban me, block me from his thing. He'll never see anything I post. But the service themselves will not take action against me for saying I hate Amnon or I hate computers too. Or in fact, I hate Jewish people or I hate Christians. I hate Muslims. They will not do it because that's the problem with current social media.
There is another side to it that it's a shame that it's being done like that. The other side of it is it's like telling the twisted people, we don't have time to go and find you on social media. So we're not going to allow you. We're not going to leave any platform out there where you can actually express yourself. So we will find out about you before you do something. I mean, GAB, any social media, if you leave the social media, let people say whatever you want, but allow authorities to look at it. If authorities can look at it, if authorities knew that he was on GAB and they would monitor it, they would say, hey, this is a person we need to watch. But if he doesn't have a platform to go, nobody knows about him. And he goes and he does whatever he wants. And then they're going to say, well, there was no indications. Leave people like that on. I have no problem with all those haters of any anybody on a social media, as long as you can take advantage of it for the right side, to be able to say, hey, here's one, here's two, here's three, here's four. Watch them, because these are people that could cause problems.
I just can't.
I
I just can't. I just don't understand
Andrew raised
why.
enough money now.
Yeah.
I mean, he raised a lot of money.
Yeah, but
He
money's
should-
not going to do you any good if you can't
I
find somebody to host your
understand. I
service.
understand. So I don't know. Maybe I need to call him.
I mean,
He
they're
needs-
getting over 9 million hits a month on their website.
He needs to get a feed from somewhere.
He doesn't have that kind of money.
Yeah, he does. What? I mean, look, I've been doing it for years and years and years. It's not who knows
But-
what.
I disagree with you. If you did something, I guarantee you CenturyLink would have voided your contract and kicked your sorry
don't
ass out to
know.
the curb. I guarantee you they would have. There's no doubt in my mind. It's the same thing. He's renting full dedicated servers from these hosting companies, and they find out that the guy in Pittsburgh posted on Gab awful things, but nothing that's illegal. I mean, nothing
Right.
that's illegal on the
Right.
service.
No, it's not.
I mean, hate speech is not illegal. You can say whatever you want. It's America. I mean, it's a free country. And it's the internet. So the internet police aren't going to come wrangle you up. But he posts this stuff in the service, and now this is the third time he's been kicked off a hosting provider.
Yeah.
He's screwed.
Well,
Because I guarantee you, if he had an account with CenturyLink or some data center, they do the exact same thing. There's no doubt in my mind.
the thing about GAB though, right? I mean, the hosting service now trying to kick him out, that is probably just the excuse for the hosters. They were probably looking for some excuse. The moment they took them on, I'm guessing other customers started pressuring, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That's how the market works, right? So
Yeah.
But the thing about GAB, right? So we are always saying, "Hey, look, this is social media, but they're all for free speech." Is GAB has become this hive for hate speech. I mean, people don't
Like the New York Times?
join. No, hold on. People don't join GAB as a social network just to post pictures of their kid having fun.
That's right. It became a
Right.
political thing now.
Right. So I mean, we can't just be naive about it and say, hey, it's just the social media. Right? It's not. It is a platform, that's true, but because of its advocacy to cater to free speech and all speech whatsoever, and not trying to put any stop on hate speech, any hate speech.
I don't think they should.
I'm not saying they should or shouldn't, but it has the audience that goes there is the audience who wants hate speech as their primary pastime.
Well,
that I disagree
That's
with.
the thing.
No. Go ahead, Nick.
Well, that I disagree with. I mean, I use Gab. I don't go there to filter on hate speech, but I'll give you a great example, Gal. If you go on Twitter right now and look at the last tweet that Trump tweeted out and look at the replies to those, that stuff is, if not as bad, worse than some of the stuff that you see on Gab. Twitter is littered with hate speech against one political belief, and that's typically Republicans. I mean, if I go on I'm looking at the last tweet that Trump tweeted out, which was about a baseball game, for Christ's sakes. Last night, the first response is "Go F yourself, Trump," and it is spelled out F-U-C-K. That is that is the definition of hate speech, and that's allowed to flourish all over Twitter and Facebook.
Well, you got Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, and that crowd advocating violence against the president.
I mean, you're absolutely correct. There is on Gab, there is a lot of there's a lot of this unfiltered talk, and that's exactly what Andrew is trying to create. And in some respects, I agree with you that it has become, in a respect, a hive of hate speech. But it's become a hive of hate speech in a way because certain hate speech is not allowed, which I think is stupid. I think anybody that wants to say anything about any group of people should be allowed to post it. That is my personal opinion. I mean, if you want to say you hate the president, go for it. I mean, frankly, I really don't care. But I should be able to say that, right, that I hate you or hate what you stand for without my ass getting the hammer swung at me, which is what happens. I mean, I'm looking at the replies on this tweet, and I mean, I can't. The stuff that is being said on Twitter about Trump is terrible. I mean, there's a picture right here of him on Twitter with a swastika tattooed on his forehead. I mean, how is that not hate speech? This guy's not going to be banned on Twitter. They don't care.
Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying.
That's part of the problem with this is the hate speech is allowed on all these other social medias, on Facebook, on Twitter. It's only being censored on one side. People like Project Veritas are being banned on Twitter for what? Posting videos that they're recording of Democratic staffers saying things privately in public places. I mean, that's what they're getting banned on Twitter for. Yet I'm allowed to post a picture of the president with a swastika or standing outside of a Nazi concentration camp, and that's okay. I mean, that's insane. Those aren't even two comparable arguments. If you're talking about what somebody like Project Veritas is doing and what some troll account is doing, but there just doesn't seem to be any care that stuff happens on one side of Twitter, and that's what GAB is for. Andrew will not ban or block you for posting things that aren't illegal. Things like child porn. Now, if you threaten to kill somebody on GAB, that's a different story. And he's worked with the FBI and the DOJ before because they've been questioned on threats. What is this user doing? And he's been more than willing to turn information and turn data over to the FBI. And he did it with this Pittsburgh case. But now his site's going to get shut down because this lunatic who hated Jewish people with or without GAB posted on his site.
Oh no,
and
totally,
he's getting screwed by it, and I think it's asinine. It's ridiculous.
I agree. I don't think the site should suffer in any way just for hosting a maniac. I totally agree.
Oh, you guys are naive. Don't you realize that by eliminating GAB, we eliminate anti-Semitism in this country?
Yeah.
Right.
You guys have it all wrong. You've got to think big.
As a naturally born Semite, I am telling you that is not the way. So I definitely my naivety goes a lot of different ways, not that one.
But see, this is the problem. That argument I just made, if I was to make that argument in a different situation, I am now an advocate of hate speech. I am now actually an anti-Semite. If that argument would now be made that due to me having that point of view, Gal, I am now anti-Semite, Gal, I hate you now because I just made that comment, which is which is 3 times as bad as what's actually going on. I am now being pinned into a guy that went out to kill Jewish people. I am now part of that group because I was defending his right online to say what he wanted. I am now worse than him. I'm worse than the enemy himself because my viewpoint is he should be allowed to post whatever he wants, which is crazy. The fact that we even have to have that conversation. But it's the real deal. I mean, I'm going to talk about this on my radio show tonight. If I posted my opinion right now on Twitter about this, that little rant I just want to post that on Twitter, I would be ridiculed by people.
We had an interesting discussion in my constitutional law class in law school. And it was interesting because I was the token conservative in the room. And whenever the professor asked this question, she said, how many people in the room think that there needs to be a limit on the reach of the First Amendment with regard to free speech? And that is, said another way, how many people think you should be able to say what you want to say? And I was surprised how many people did not raise their hands. I was probably one of about 5 people in 20 who raised his hand and said, I thought you think you need to be able to say whatever you want to say. And I was surprised by how many people felt there should be restraints on free speech.
But see, they get pawned into it though.
Well, I started thinking about it just a second. I said, what is it that they don't want me to be able to say? And after about, I was a little slow on it. So after about 30 seconds, I raised my hand and she looked at me. She said, "Yes, Mike." And I said, "I want to change my vote." She said, "What do you mean?" Well, I think there need to be restraints and limits on free speech as long as I get to pick what they are.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that is free speech.
Well, we can't do that. Well, who's going to get to pick them? Do you get to pick them?
That's
People
the
in this
social
room
media
get to pick
problem.
them. Who's going to pick those limits on free speech? So as long as I get to pick what those limits are, absolutely, we need to have limits. Boy, she got off that subject in a heartbeat. They just don't see it. These people are not able to look at themselves in a mirror.
And that's exactly what Andrew Torba over at GAB is trying to. He does not want to be the almighty hand that controls what people can and can't say. And when you don't control what people can or can't say, you get crazy things on a website like this guy. But I've been on GAB since all of us here, minus you, I don't know when you joined, but Mike Amnon and I have all been on GAB since literally the first day that the beta opened. Some of us within the first 2 hours of the beta being open. And there's been, I mean, I've talked to Andrew privately on the phone a couple times. I know Amnon has. At no point you make the argument that Andrew is a bad guy, and he's the demon now of social media because he does not want to be the hand of God that makes the decisions on what you can or can't post. Which I can't wrap my head around. Andrew's the nicest guy in the world. I hope the best for him. But
Nick says because he got verified.
Well, there you go. But it's just, I don't know. I feel terrible for him. He's put so much time and so much work into this site, and it's just they found as you said, Gal, they wanted to cancel his account, and here's their pounce point. They can find this guy and use this as an example, which I'm sure the hosting company's terms of service has got something in there that makes them not liable for this stuff.
Well, there's a federal law that says they're not liable for it, so that's why it's a lie.
No, but they may have something in their own terms of service that says
they're not liable for it under the law.
It doesn't matter if they're not
have
liable.
what they want in the terms of service, saying if we don't like you, we're going to drop you. That's fine.
And that's what it is. Yeah.
But they're not legally liable.
I wonder if I can. Let me find this real quick. Hold on.
He should pick up his servers and move them somewhere to Russia, China,
There you go.
somewhere where
Get Trump to hook him up in Russia.
Huh?
Get Trump to hook him up in Russia.
Let me see if I can find
Good
it.
one, Mike.
Thank you. I enjoyed saying it.
But I mean, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I didn't hear that yet. But
We also got banned from PayPal and Stripe yesterday as well.
yeah, and
Wait. Has this guy ever used PayPal?
They use PayPal as a
Not GAB. Has the Blake ever used PayPal?
I mean, I don't know. I think
Has he ever been
everybody.
on Facebook,
yeah, I'll bet you he was.
Instagram, Snapchat.
Yeah.
All right. So here is the verbiage. We have received notice of a breach of the JoyNet's terms of service. As a result, we are advising you of our intended to suspend your service effective 9 a.m. Eastern on October 29th. The following instances will be affected. It's a list of all of their service providers. And GAB is actually currently working with the FBI and DOJ to turn over information about.
I'd stop working with them and tell them to go see the host since they know so damn much.
Yeah. So it's a shame. We'll continue to talk about it. I know he's going to be busy, but we should try to get him back on the show. I know he's going to be crazy busy over the next couple of weeks, but
yeah, he needs to go somewhere where there is no. And I'm not a big believer in conspiracies, but it's obviously looking here like we're going to find out that all these businesses that banned him probably have some kind of an umbrella.
Well, I mean, you go back to the Alex Jones thing a couple months ago. There was clearly some type of something coincided. It all happened at exactly the same time.
Yeah,
called SOROS.
Yeah. No, I mean, really, I'm serious. If I was Andrew, I would do two things. One, I would go and I would set up accounts on different providers, different VPSs, and just have the software there. So if one kicks me out, I right away move to another one, and knowing that the other one will probably kick me out, but it'll take another 2-3 weeks, and work on a provider that is not in the States.
All right.
One that
I mean, Andrew is a sharp guy. It's not like he doesn't have a
Uh,
contingency plan. If he doesn't have mirrors of his servers in 3 or 4 different countries, then he's not as smart as we think he is.
Well, he doesn't right now, and I think it's due to a cost
Well,
thing. I mean,
yeah,
it's
but
not
you
like he
see-
has a single $200 a month VPS to run the whole service. I mean, it's a social
Yeah.
media is more complex than a single.
You can buy a hosting company in Slovakia for $200.
Right. Exactly. That's my point. Now, you're going to have to do your research to find out who is providing the feeds for that hosting company. I mean,
That's the thing, exactly.
and you need to find something that has nothing, I mean, completely cut out from any of the big guys here in the States. Then go talk to them. I can't believe that I can't believe anybody complained to GAB's service hosting service that they need to kick GAB out because this guy was on GAB. No. I think they were looking, just like Nick said, they were looking for a reason. They didn't. Now they found, oh yeah, this guy was on on GAB, so we're gonna do away. It's just
The thing-
ridiculous.
It's funny enough because Gab actually has a verified account on Twitter. Get on
Yeah.
Gab is the name of their account, and people are posting. People are now screenshotting Twitter users that have made very similar comments to the guy in Pittsburgh
Mhm.
and posting the pictures side by side and saying one is Gab and one is Twitter.
Mhm.
And let's look at the differences here. And it's the hypocritical nature that's
Oh,
pissing
yeah.
people off. I mean, that's all it is for me. I mean, it's just the hypocritical nature that I don't appreciate at all. Not one bit.
This too shall pass.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so Nick,
And I'm
you
not
wanna
saying
go
I want
into-
this guy to go out here and kill Jewish people. That's not what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. Let me make that blatantly clear. But he shouldn't be banned from the
No.
social media that he uses should not be banned because of it. That is
Nick, are you going to go into this one that you just sent me?
not right now. I'll do that tonight. I'll save that for another time.
I would say it this way: that guy should not be banned for what he said, but he should be banned from the world for what he did.
Oh, I'm fully agree with you on that. I mean, there's no doubt.
Yep.
I mean, was he arrested?
Oh
Yeah, he surrendered him to turn himself in.
Oh, well.
Yeah. A coward.
Did he make it to the jailhouse?
He did. I don't know if Pennsylvania is a kill state or whatever.
You mean capital punishment?
Yeah, capital punishment state. Yeah.
No, I'm just surprised that he didn't try to get away and get shot.
Yeah, he was talking to them. It was very weird. He clearly somebody that is not mentally
Right.
blatantly obvious. Somebody that's not mentally sound. I mean, I think that
He
explains
I know what he's doing. He's setting himself up for a run for Congress as a Democrat.
Oh, Mike.
What? I mean, you got to read these things, Amnon. I mean, the world is
No,
a
no.
complicated place.
Oh boy. Yeah, I went in and I shot some Jews. I'm gonna run for
Well,
California.
the guy who shot the Republican playing baseball and
Yeah.
something's going on out there.
Oh.
You got Maxine Waters telling people to harass and to do mob violence against people because they're doing dirty dastard deeds like eating in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Something's wrong out there, guys.
So-
I mean, what's that old saying? In fact, it's, I forget where it is. Everybody's heard it 1,000 times whenever they said the last line of it is whenever the Jews called for help in Germany, nobody came and Hitler took over. So listen to calls for help, and there are problems out there. They're not going to go away. The people who are opposing these things are being very successful, and that's a fact.
And we'll have.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'll talk about more of that stuff tonight on my show. It'll be the topic for tonight. So
I mean, I don't know about the rest of the people out there, but I would rather have. I mean, it's free speech or not. I'd rather people like that will be online everywhere, so we'll know who to watch. Otherwise, they're operating in the shadows, and then you don't find them. You don't know about them, and they surprise you. This way, put them everywhere. Know who it is. Recognize him, and if you see him, go to the other side of the street. You know, it just makes sense to have those people, and most of them are so stupid that they will go if he could go on all the social media platforms, he would have bragged about it that, hey, here's what I'm going to do, and who knows?
yeah, post it on
Somebody could've-
LinkedIn.
Here's the comment I was trying to think of. This was written by a Protestant pastor, who opposed Adolf Hitler and spent the last 7 years of Nazi rule in a concentration camp. He said that first they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me.
Well, I mean,
Yep.
that's kind of the crux of this argument that we've
I
been
know,
having.
that's why I brought it up.
It's there's all this censorship online, and it's all fine and dandy because it's on one side of the aisle.
Well,
You
Where
look
this
at
is connected to that is they said I did not speak out. That's part of it. Well, you're not going to be able to if you don't
Yeah.
agree with the people who are doing all this free speech suppression.
Yeah.
Anyway, all it would take is one Supreme Court case like this to turn this stuff around. But and you say, well, I'm not going to do anything. You just have to sit here and let it happen. Well, Dante said, and this is interesting, the hottest places in hell are reserved for those who remain neutral in a time of moral crisis. The problem is the definition of moral crisis. These morons are under the guise of moral crisis trying to eliminate GAB so that this guy, there's no way he could ever speak out again. He can't go to Facebook. He can't go to Twitter. He can't go to Snapchat. He can't go to anywhere. The only place he could possibly speak was GAB.
Yeah, couldn't write a letter to the
Sarcastic.
editor in a newspaper. I mean, that
Well,
would be
he
crazy.
wouldn't have to do that. They do the same thing there, just about. Yep, it's sad.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll have some information next week after they're presumably shut down on Monday. So we'll talk about that next week. Gal, you ever used Signal before?
Yeah.
So there's an article here I was reading on Bleeping Computer that Signal, the newest version of Signal, the Chrome extension, is leaving unencrypted messages on the disk of your local computer, which is a big no-no. Signal is a peer-to-peer encrypted messaging service like WhatsApp and what's the other one? Signal.
Well, WhatsApp is using Signal's technology to encrypt.
Oh, really?
Point to point. Yeah.
Well, that's an even bigger problem. But now this is just Signal on the desktop where this is happening, and there's a screenshot here of a messages.json file, which is full of the unencrypted messages in clean text. Of all the different conversations. So if you're one that uses Signal on the desktop, just be aware that there could be an issue with unencrypted files being left on your local computer, not on a server, but on your local system, which presumably means if your computer was compromised, that those unencrypted messages could be they could just be read theoretically.
Well, I mean, if somebody has access to your computer, right, they'll have access to and they can log in and everything, right?
Mhm.
So they can just launch the application and they'll see the same thing.
That's true.
I mean, I see the problem. Not a big deal.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
not being unencrypted left on the server.
no, that was never the case. They've never done that.
Now we've talked about this, and from what I remember, you said these are popular more overseas because of incompatibilities with different cell carriers. But more and more, I see people promoting that they're using these apps in the U.S. You know more about these, Gal? What are people using these things for? These unencrypted peer-to-peer messaging services over something like text message or iMessage.
Encrypted, you mean, not unencrypted?
I'm sorry, yes,
Yeah.
encrypted. Yeah.
Well, it all depends on who's already on it. It's like every other communication platform. You use Skype, you use WhatsApp, it all depends on who's the person you want to contact and who's already on it. WhatsApp is very popular. WhatsApp is the alternative to iMessage, I think, almost anywhere else in the world. It is almost ubiquitous in its availability. I think that's why Facebook bought them. It allows them to tap into an audience that, if they're not on Facebook, then they can probably learn something about behavior that way, right? WhatsApp and Signal, they're both ad-free. Signal is interesting because Signal is an open source solution, and a free and a free service. So not only open source, you can peer into the code and learn on how this system works, but it also they provide the service to actually use it on. It works exactly the same as WhatsApp on the mobile phone. As you mentioned, they have a desktop solution via Chrome extension, and it's not as elegant as, let's say, the WhatsApp web interface. I wonder. I've never used iPhone and iMessage that way. So, can you communicate over iMessage from your computer
If you have a Mac,
if you have a Mac?
there's a
Okay.
native iMessage app, and as long as you're logged into the same iOS account, yes.
Okay.
It's
So
very seamless. It works well.
right. So WhatsApp allows you to work from any browser, um, uh, and it only allows one connection from a browser. So if you started a connection at home and now you're in the office, and you want to work from the office, then it'll switch to the office. So it's not like you're exposed all the time. You're always only on a single point. And you can work from the computer as seamlessly as from the phone, sometimes even more easily because of a keyboard copy paste. You can still transfer and use all of your media that you send videos, receive videos, send pictures, etc. So, and as I said, WhatsApp works on the same infrastructure, on the same, well, not same infrastructure, the same logic, the same code as Signal. Signal is an open source solution. WhatsApp uses their technology and they ride on top of that. I guess that's how Signal fund their project, because they're free and open. So
Yeah, and a lot of newspapers and whatnot use they have a Signal, is it a key or a username or something like that, where they if you want to contact a newspaper anonymously, there's, instead of writing an anonymous letter or something like that, or sending an email, you can communicate with an editor anonymously using Signal, and that's how I saw it. I saw it for the first time earlier this week, and I started looking into Signal because I didn't really know anything about it, and that's when I saw this article.
oh yeah, Signal is it comes from highly highly regarded security developer. I don't remember his name because I'm not really that versed in that world. But the guy behind, I think he was PGP is in his no. I'm probably messing up things. So developers Open Whisper Systems, which is what WhatsApp used. The name is Moxie Marlinspike, or that's that's how he's known. He's behind the Signal development, and everything around Signal is from this. Uh, uh, um, Sorry, lost the translation. I'll figure it out in a moment. But all the talk about it comes from security experts hailing this project as the best solution for private point-to-point conversation over the internet. Yeah, it's effective. The protocol has the ability of identifying the other side, validity of uh, to make sure that the connection between you and the other side is the person that you intended to. They have a way of exchanging keys. So if you've exchanged it in person uh, um, originally, then you can always make sure that you validate the integrity of the connection when you contact them. So uh, so it's all about sending safe messages from point to point. And yeah,
pretty effective.
it is very effective. It is very effective. It is right now it's the on the pedestal, and that's probably why you read that article, because as being this highly regarded, really effective method of private communication, you expect everything about it to be perfect, and suddenly somebody found that the chat record is unencrypted on your desktop.
Right.
But so I get the critique. They should definitely fix that. It's not a big deal. It's not like somebody can send you a message um, um, impersonating another user that's already in your contact list. That
Mhm.
would be horrifying, right? What they're describing is an oversight and not a big one. That's the way I see it. Besides, anyone who uses Chrome doesn't really care about its privacy. So
You
it's
know what?
like,
There's the bigger argument.
right? So it's like, okay, I'm not gonna argue. It's like, so yeah,
Yeah.
that's my 2 cents.
Well, thanks for the little. Yeah, it's just for those apps just aren't very popular in the U.S. It appears, but I'm starting to see them pop up more and more mainstream as people are saying. I saw somebody in their Twitter bio had their Signal name listed in there as contact me on Signal or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I'm starting to see more and more of.
I would actually prefer communication over Signal than any other communication. It is as feature rich as any other chat or messaging platform, but it's completely open and it is safe. So I would prefer that. But as social communication goes, it all depends on where people are already at. So almost all of the people are on the phone network. So they have a phone number, right? So that'll be the first place where you'll be contacted. And that's why it's probably the most spammy area, right? Because everyone's there. And after that, we have large social networks like Facebook and Twitter and whatnot. And after that, we have whatever works. So in the US, it becomes iMessage really, really iMessage really took off. I remember Samsung trying to create something of their own, but WhatsApp was already around. So WhatsApp is probably the next great thing. Signal is new to the game. WhatsApp wasn't always encrypted, right?
Yeah.
And when Signal came into play, WhatsApp bought the technology from them and implemented it within WhatsApp. So and so Signal is, as far as audience, there's a lot of geeks, a lot of security freaks, probably some journalists that figure it's a very safe method of communication from point to point. But yeah, right now the audience is really limited. It's like GAB, right? GAB uh, becomes this hive for hate speech because that's the only place where the platform says, "Hey, we don't really care what you're saying," right? So Signal is like that because of its nature. Its nature is, "Hey, I'm safe," right?
Yeah.
It's not I'm fun. It's not I'm cool. It's not I can do everything. It's I'm safe. So because of that, it pulls in security uh, security centric people.
Let's look at. We got a couple comments in chat. So Tish is saying, I use I use WhatsApp daily through the day. I have quite a few friends in the UK I call and talk to. So
Yeah.
in that respect, it's like Facebook Messenger. It's a IM
Yeah.
client. Excuse me.
And Facebook Messenger came to be far after WhatsApp
WhatsApp. Yeah.
was widespread. So
And
yeah.
now this is more for you, guy. Alan says, does Signal let you call / text landline / mobiles and be called / texted from landline / mobiles?
So texting. So Signal can, at least on the Android, it can take over simple texting. So it'll
Okay.
be the only application you use for texting and/or Signal conversation, and
Gotcha.
it'll mark each conversation clearly, whether it's a safe one, a secure one, or an open, unsecure one. As for calls, I don't remember Signal having voice calls, but I can tell you in a sec. I'll just
I'm gonna
launch
look.
it
Let me look at the iOS app and see what it's saying.
and see. Yeah, I don't. I think when I click call over that, it'll. Yeah. So there's audio calling on the app itself. So if the contact on the other side has Signal, it'll call using the Signal channel over the Signal channel app. It's basically exactly the same as WhatsApp. WhatsApp works the same way.
So,
So
to answer this question, it will not. You can't go Signal to SMS. You go Signal to Signal, SMS to SMS. It doesn't let you
yeah.
communicate with another platform. You have, if you want to talk to somebody, God, if I want to talk to you on Signal, I need a username for you or something of that regard.
Well, the identification is via the phone number.
Oh, okay. So but it is a username per se.
Yeah. So once the other user is connected to Signal, whether you guys knew that in advance or not, okay. Once you are in Signal and I'm in Signal and I have your phone number that you registered to Signal with, right? Then the moment I start to communicate with you on Signal, it will tell me if it's going to be over text message or if the channel is secure.
I'm gonna install it right now. I'm gonna try to play around with it this week because this is very interesting. I like these little services.
Yeah, this service is a very good one. And now one of the nice thing is because they because of being so security centric, so security aware, then the communication is never stored on the servers, and that makes their servers a lot more leaner than others, right? They still need to provide the open available channels for everyone, so bandwidth is an issue, and they have this upkeep of maintenance, but it is a leaner long-term design because they don't really need to store anything.
Gal, can you private message me your cell phone number on Discord? I'm gonna try
Yeah,
to
sure.
add you on this. So let's see. Tish says, Nick, I use WhatsApp mobile because since you have to use it connected with your mobile number, at least with using it, it's free to call most all over the world. I do know that those in India, they have to pay to use WhatsApp to call those in America. That yeah, so they're web connected. These are all web connected services. You have to have an internet connection for this stuff to work, which
Yeah.
is cool.
By the way, Tish, I don't think the India audience, they need to pay for calls, but the app might cost $1 to install for the first time, or something like that. It's not like it's replacing international calls tariffs where you need to pay per minute and anything like that. So
Well, come on, God, they can do whatever they want in India. I mean, if they decide, yeah, no, we're not going to allow it. So
well, of course they can, but I mean the model of how the application works
it's not.
is it used to cost some amount to purchase
Mhm.
the application. Um, in some areas, you had to pay a yearly fee of $1 per year, but that was more of let's make sure that this application never becomes an based on ads, right? Ad
Yeah,
free.
yeah.
So
And talking about apps and all that. A new study from Oxford University revealed that almost 90% of free apps on the Google Play Store share data with Alphabet. The researchers who analyzed 959,000 apps from the US and UK Google Play stores said data harvesting and sharing by mobile apps was now out of control. We find that most apps contain third party tracking, and the distribution of trackers is long tailed, with several highly dominant trackers accounting for a large portion of the coverage. So it's almost like it's a sickness in the Google Play Store here in the UK. 90% of free apps.
well,
Amazing.
yeah, free app means almost automatically ad based.
Yeah, it has to.
Yeah,
That's how they make their money.
right. It's hard. It's really hard to find ad free applications on mobile.
Yeah.
I mean, on iPhone, it has become, from what I've seen, it has become customary to not have a free app, but have something that costs a really small amount. But in Android, it is really, really, really. You'll see that almost any app that you want is available for free, but it's ad based. And I'm guessing the revenue makes sense, right?
I remember back in the early days of the iPhone, almost every app was paid for. There were very, very few free apps.
Yeah.
Or if there were, I don't know if they still do this light versions of apps. That used to be the big thing. And it's funny to see how there's so many now either free full featured apps or reasonably priced like full programs that are available on at least the iOS side.
Well, one thing I can say that is very annoying as a trend is I've seen quite a few pay. So you have an application, you pay for it, and you get the features that were blocked from you, but they still show ads.
Yeah, like Hulu. I've never understood that.
Yeah, well, Hulu lives in another realm of commercial television. That's something else. But I'm talking about apps where the norm was you pay the buck, you pay the $3, you pay the $4, and the ads are gone, right?
Yeah.
And there are a few apps where that is not the case, and there and you see that their ratings for those apps on the paid app, they're they're the consumer doesn't like it. It's but I don't know if it'll go away.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
All right, listen to this now. This is kind of funny. I mean, it's I don't know funny, but Russian brand ambassador for Samsung, Xenia Sobchak, is reportedly being sued by the South Korean smartphone producer for allegedly being caught in public using an iPhone 10, instead of handsets she was supposed to be promoting. Xenia Sobchak was hired by Samsung to market its smartphones in the country, with the Russian TV presenter, journalist, and politician contracted to use the smartphones in public. Under the terms of similar agreements between companies and influential people, they are not typically allowed to be seen using competing products in public, a rule that Sobchak broke. According to the Mirror, Sobchak was spotted using an iPhone 10 during a television interview with a personality attempting to hide the Apple smartphone under a piece of paper while the cameras were on. She's also said to have used the iPhone 10 during social events in Moscow and other TV appearances against the contract rules. So, I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, they probably did not pay her just peanuts. She probably got good money to use the Samsung. What in the world? It, and now you get sued and you have to pay because you did that. It's just kind of ridiculous, don't you think? I mean,
Well,
ridiculous on the part of the rep to do something.
those crazy Russians.
Yeah, well, those crazy, yeah. And Apple and Samsung are being fined 10 million euros and 5 million euros, respectively, in Italy for the planned, listen to this guy, planned obsolescence of their smartphones. An investigation launched in January by the nation's competition authority found that certain smartphone software updates had a negative effect on the performance of the devices. Believed to be the first ruling of its kind against smartphone manufacturers, the investigation followed accusations operating system updates for older phones slowed them down, thereby encouraging the purchase of new phones. A lot of people always said that Apple updates slowed down the machine, made the battery look like it was bad and all that. And in Italy, it's the first time such a ruling. 10 million euro, which is $11.4 million, and $5.7 million. So maybe I don't know that will bring an end to this practice, but that's how they get you to go and buy a new phone. Otherwise, you stay with the old phone, which they don't make money with, right?
So the suit is against Apple and Samsung.
And Samsung. Yup. It's interesting.
Hmm.
Yep. So if you always thought that there's something wrong with the phone after an update, probably there is. It's not just talk. It's for real. And this is also something that I see a lot of residue from. Yahoo has agreed to pay $50 million in damages and provide 2 years of free credit monitoring services to 200 million people whose email addresses and other personal information were stolen as part of the biggest security breach in history. The restitution hinges on federal court approval of the settlement filed late last Monday in a 2-year-old lawsuit seeking to hold Yahoo accountable for digital burglaries that occurred in 2013 to 2014, but weren't disclosed until 2016. Now, yeah, we know that they had that they screwed up, and if you want to find out if this, you need to follow it. They were talking about that some people get $175. Some people, I mean, they're going to pay you $25 an hour if you for work that you had to do in order to get out of this situation if you were compromised. But the reason why this caught my eye, and I'm sure a lot of you see that out there, I get each week maybe 3 or 4 calls from customers or emails that they forwarded to me. Said, "Did they just broke into your server?" And the message there is to address to the email address of the person and telling them that this is their password, and the password is obviously legitimate password that they use, and that they want that they installed malware on their computer, and that they took videos of them going on porn sites. Other ones say that they broke into their email and they got a copy of all their contacts. Bottom line, this is, and I think we talked about it before, this is coming out now because I guess the list of those 200,000 plus I don't know how many millions, plus I don't know how many millions from LinkedIn and other breaches are old now, that they're not worth much to the people that are holding them, so they are selling it for real cheap. What these people are doing is they taking that, they have a password. It's known. I wish it wasn't the situation where a lot of people use the same password on every service, and it's going phishing. It's telling you, here's your password, and I was on your computer. And if you use that password, I mean, first of all, it's a real password because they got it from one of those breaches. But if you use that password on your machine and on other places, right away you think, oh yeah, they do have it because obviously, they have the password.
And if you pay the ransom,
Right. Then it'll be
then they
cashless.
know that the password is valid. No, think about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's there. You are what's the word? Confirming a lot of those, that a lot of these settings and credentials were correct.
Right.
They want
I'm
you to
aware
pay
of a
with
situation where a young lady got an email on her work account with her password. It was one of the Yahoo hacks.
Yep.
She looked at it, and I wasn't aware there, but she looked at it, and they said that she ran out of the office and ran home and changed all her passwords, and when I heard about it, the next time I saw her, I said, "What's the big deal? Why'd you run home so quickly?" And she said, "Well, they said they had video of me in compromising positions."
Yeah.
And I said, "You don't take videos of yourself in compromising positions." And she said, "Well," and she kind of hesitated. And she said, "The webcam is pointing at my couch." I said, "Too much information. Have a nice day."
Yeah, but it's just so you know, these are scams. They want you to pay with Bitcoin, and they tell you how to. If you don't know how to pay with Bitcoin, they give you instructions, and it's a scam. but people are worried about it when they see it. And
Well, it's one of the best scams that's been done.
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, the one good thing that she did is she changed her passwords. And everybody should not use the same passwords on different sites. Use different passwords. Then you can tell where it came from. And I get them too. And I know that they're coming from the breach on Yahoo and from the breach of LinkedIn. Because I know what my passwords there were.
Nick Allen wants to know how old you were when you were on the show the first time. Well, since you're 14 now, I figured you were 11.
Yeah, I was gonna say. That's a good question.
I
I don't know. Is it in the Hall of Fame? Let's see if it's in there.
I don't
My
remember
name-
it
my
either,
name
but he
there?
was very
Yeah.
young.
I have no idea, honestly. Let's see. You have a playlist on YouTube, Amnon?
Yeah.
I'm gonna start scrolling. I'll have an answer by the end of the show.
While you're scrolling, I gotta leave. So it was a pleasure.
Alrighty, my friend.
See you guys.
All right,
Right.
Gal,
Have a
take
good week,
care.
Gal.
Have a good day.
Okay, let's see if I can't find Nissan Computers 2K Now playlist. Ah, damn it, they don't have thumbnails.
Sheesh.
All right, we're starting the trek.
It was while you were
Oh,
still...
the old ones do have thumbnails. Perfect. These are from 2015. Here's 2013 C2K. Would 12/01/113 be 2013?
Yeah.
Okay, that's 2013.
While you
I see it. I see 2013 in here, so I guess 2013 is probably the earliest. Oh, you're using VidBlaster.
it was before that.
Greatest program ever been written.
It's got to be 2012 or 2013.
Now, here's something that I've never heard about this app store, but earlier this week, the Portuguese court ruled a decision against Google in relation to the injunction filed by Aptoide. Did you ever hear about Aptoide? It's a
Sounds like an app that's a pain in the butt.
It's a popular third-party app store. It is
For what system?
Google, so it's Google's
for Google. Okay.
Android. It is applicable on 82 countries, including UK, Germany, USA, India, among others. Google will have to stop Google Play Protect from removing the competitor Aptoide's App Store from users' phone without users' knowledge, which has caused losses of over 2.2 million users in the last 60 days. So there's apparently another and a legitimate app store called Aptoide, Aptoide.
And on Android, this is very easy. So on any Android phone, you can install an APK, which is the app. It's like an exe on your computer. And if somebody makes an app store, it's an APK. It's not in the Google Play Store, meaning you have to go to their website to get the APK. The app is on your phone as if it's a native app, because in fact, it is a native app. On iOS, the app is known as Cydia. At least that's what it used to be called, Cydia. And when you jailbroke your phone, which was the rooting it, when you get root access to it, you can change things like the I'm trying to think, what did we used to root our phones for? Oh, motion wallpapers. That was the hot thing on the iPhone 3GS. You got to kill your battery life by putting a motion wallpaper on. And the third-party app store was called Cydia, Cydia. I wonder if it's still around. Yeah, it is. Cydia, still there.
They're saying demanding from Google indemnity for all the damages caused. And it's a Aptoide with over 250 million users, 6 billion downloads, and one of the top stores globally, has presented this July a formal complaint to the European Union Antitrust Department against Google. So whatever it is, it's Google was trying to suppress it.
Which, yeah, well, I can probably guess a couple of reasons why. Google is, um, if any of those apps are for sale, or if any of the apps are free but they sell things in the app that you can buy,
Uh-huh.
on if an app is in the Google Play Store and it sells something and it uses the Play Store as its payment method, which it has to, Google takes, I think, 35%. And that's starting to piss a lot of developers off. So Fortnite, which we've talked about in the past, made in Cary at Epic Games,
Mhm.
their Android app is not available in the Google Play Store. You have to go to their website and download an APK, and they've made, I think they made $40 million in the first month of the game being on Android, and Google got zilch, 0% of it, because they're not doing the payment through Google's Play Store. They're essentially a third party app. And if I had to guess, there's probably some apps in this third party app store that are doing the same thing, and Google doesn't like that because that's how they pay for the services and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way that Nissan Communications app is. You have to download it and install it. Don't do it because it's really, I mean, we did that app before I understood what apps were all about and paid somebody to do it. It doesn't help anything. It's, if anything, it makes things more convoluted. So, but that's how you do it, because Google will not let it in the store because it was using YouTube links in it. And if you're using an Android, so a bug in Google News app
Mhm.
for Android is reportedly causing the app to use up excessive amount of background data, leading to overage charges. According to dozens of posts on Google News Help Forum, users have been experiencing this issue as early as June, said The Verge. The issue was verified and addressed by a Google News community manager in September, stating that the company was investigating and working toward a fix, but the issue is still going. So if you're using Google News app and you see overages of your data, that's why. Just
I've got
be aware.
a real quick Android story.
Yeah.
People are probably familiar with geofencing,
Mhm.
which is the idea of location-based ads or notifications.
Mhm.
So like if you're walking in a strip mall, not a strip club, strip mall, and there's a pizza place and they're geofenced, you walk by the pizza place and you can get a notification that says, come in for our lunch special or whatever.
Mhm.
Google is killing location-based and nearby notifications on Android due to spam. So too many people are so the way that this works is I think it kind of does some peer-to-peer stuff as well. But they're killing nearby notification things, which could screw with some geofencing stuff
Mhm.
because there's a lot of spam on it.
Huh? Because they're not making money.
Well, they're not making money, and I mean, I'd be pissed if every time I walked by a store, it popped
Yeah,
up and said,
yeah.
"Come in here and buy something." I mean, if I wanted to buy it, I'd buy it.
And,
Just
and
saying.
Google is so anti-spam
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Well, hey, you know what? They got
jeez.
the best spam filters on an email. So
that they actually do, but then they filter it so they can put their own in it.
I'm telling you, most of the spam that's coming into Delta Force for the last few years, because we have such good technique how to stop this and this and this, is coming from Google, because it'll be crazy to block Google. It's coming from Google. How? Yes, incoming to Gmail works great, but apparently outgoing, they don't care.
Well,
So
yeah, I mean they're free accounts, so
yeah, I don't know. I
you can do
understand.
so much before they axe
Yeah.
you.
No, I mean I understand all that, but
All right,
now here's
I've got one final story.
okay, and then I've got some things that I want. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, and I want to get an update. I don't have you given everybody an update on your new server stuff? We'd do that real quick too. So the Hubble Space Telescope, which has had problems since day one because they misaligned it and it's never been able to take super high resolution pictures. They had an issue with their gyroscope, and so in early October their gyroscope stopped working. So they switched to their backup gyroscope, which also was not functioning properly. So according to NASA, they turned the original gyroscope off and back on, and it started working again. So this the age-old trick of restarting something when it doesn't work
Probably running on Windows.
is and probably running on Windows is valid even in a space telescope. They just restarted the gyroscope and bada bing, bada
works.
boom, back up and running.
All right,
So there you
so
go.
here's a critical remote code execution vulnerability has been spotted in a live 555 media streaming library used by popular media players such as VLC and MPlayer. But to make a long story short, it looks like it's when you're using VLC to stream, not just to play a audio or video file, but it's when you're using it to stream. So if you do, you need to update it. And there was a recent hack of 8 poorly secured adult website has exposed megabytes of personal data that could be damaging to the people who shared pictures and other highly intimate information on the online message boards. Included in the leak are one IP addresses that connected to the site,
Single IP.
2 user passwords protected by 4-decade-old cryptographic scheme, 40 years old scheme, names, and 1.2 million unique email addresses. I don't understand. These are sites that, what do they call it? Owner of wifelovers.com. People were showing off their wives. What in the world?
You're being very judgy, Amnon.
Huh?
You're being very judgy.
Well, I mean, come on.
You're a hater.
Yeah. To hear the Microsoft finally owns GitHub.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yep.
Get ready for that
They
service to
closed
go
it,
down the
and
tank.
it's theirs. And and because of all that problems with that chip and Amazon and Apple and all that, the vulnerability, the Chinese chip, Amazon pulled its fourth quarter advertisements on Bloomberg's website. A move some within the media giant think is a retribution for its controversial story alleges Chinese spies hacked into the online retailer server. And Apple also pulled stuff off of Bloomberg.
Why would they pull it?
Because Bloomberg ran that story, which they claim, and our DHS claims that really it's not true, and Bloomberg will not retract it.
Well, then they need to lose their internet source or hosting.
All right, well, I guess that's
We've had some interesting comments in the chat about going back to when the show started and how long
Yeah,
you've been
go
listening.
ahead.
We've had some people
Go.
who've been here a long time, and we may not sound like it, but we really do appreciate you guys being here. Having said that, if you got suggestions about things you would like the show to do or not do. I mean, the biggest criticism we get is that Nick is ugly, and we can't change that.
You know what?
Now the biggest criticism we get is that some of you people are wacko liberals and don't like us talking politics. Unfortunately, that's not going to change. We do try to keep a check on it, but we're all wackos here on this side in our own ways. So hopefully we don't insult you. We appreciate you listening, even if you are a liberal. But if you got some suggestions, don't hesitate to make them. I mean, Tish suggested a T-shirt, and my life goal is to have a T-shirt with a picture of Amnon on it. I mean, that's what I live for. But having said that, hosts at computers2know.com will get you to us. Host, H-O-S-T-S, host at computers2know.com. Feel free to make a suggestion. I mean, we, honest to goodness, we would appreciate your input, and if it's something we feel like we can do, we'll do it. I mean, the reason we say that, and the only reason I bring it up, is that years and years ago, there were a lot more computer issues than there are now. I mean, now people have Macs, and Macs just work. They don't have problems. Nobody ever has an issue with Mac. So the last 3 or 4 people who are using Windows PCs now, it's just not as prevalent as it used to be. I say sarcastically, but to Windows credit, I mean, a lot of the problems you run into now, they do fix them things themselves. Remember when you had to edit the INI to load a driver for Windows 3.1? It was just ridiculous. But anyway, having said that, if you got any suggestions, comments, some criticisms, we don't like criticisms, but we read them. Hosts at computers2know.com.
Yeah, and during the show, if you see that we're not commenting on your comment and you want to bring it up and make sure that it stays, remember what's in the chat goes away after the show is over. But if you call in and talk to us about it, that stays forever. Think about it.
And you're not identified. I mean,
Yeah,
Alan,
you
we
don't
don't
have
have
to.
your address or
I don't
bank.
think
Well, we got your bank account number, but I mean, we're not going to put it on the air.
I don't think that our audience, the regular audience that actually logs into the chat, is worried about that. The people that are in the background, just lurking and listening or whatever, they may obviously, because they don't even want to log in under a fake name.
I mean, the overwhelming number of people who watch the show watch the replay.
Yep.
And the time of the day we do it, that's not surprising at all. But
Yeah.
but that's okay. We've got a good little crowd here, and if you guys got input, questions, suggestions, you want to call in, you are more than welcome.
We had the same. It's the same thing with infection. We have a lot of people that listen when they're driving to work and whatnot. And every once in a while, a random name will pop up in the chat room that we've never seen before, and it'll be, "Hey guys, so and so and so and so, listen to you guys every week." You know, you're always mentioning the lurkers or whatever. So that's always cool to see.
Lurkers, welcome too.
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out to our friend Mike C in the chat, new chatter, first long time listener, first time chatter.
All right. Anything else that we want to mention? Nope.
Do you have any update on your server stuff? Have you talked? That happened this week, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's it. I'm out of CenturyLink control. Still battling with them. They don't want to let me out of the month-to-month contract, so I have to pay another month. But I mean, things are working. People actually don't know that there is no difference. I mean, all the customers, none of the customers actually is even aware that something changed, because we did it in a way that it will not affect other people. And yeah, everything is out of there except one machine that belongs to a customer who is actually is building a website now to be hosted instead of having their own server, since they can't maintain the server. And since I have to pay until the 16th of next month, I'll be damned if I'm not going to leave stuff in there and use the electricity.
Oh,
I'm
why
not
don't you
going to give them.
put GAB servers in there for the next month?
Yeah. for a month. Yeah.
You have to increase your pipe a little bit, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've got enough bandwidth.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah, and the pipe is a lot bigger under the new. I mean, it's huge. It's really nice when I'm.
This is a family-friendly show, Amnon. Keep it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He's just bragging.
All right. So is that it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thanks everybody, and good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thanks everybody for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive. Update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us, like Mike said, at computers2know.com or hosts at computers2know.com. While you're on the site, like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tonight at 7, Nick is hosting Against the Norm on Wilmington Big Talker 106.7, and you can listen anywhere in the world on TuneIn. And if you need the link, it's right on the left where it says links in the menu on Computers 2K Now or on NissanCommunications.com. Just go there and it'll give you the link. See you next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.